Welcome back, grade 11s, and we've been saying each one just brings a little bit more complexity, and we start deciding, wait a second, what do we do at any given time? And you'll start deciding when you combine steps or, where we can not necessarily take a shortcut, but just go a little bit quicker as you want to. So I'm going to show kind of every step as an extra, but also not too many extra steps. So I know that this divide I want to change to a multiplication by doing our classic tip and times. So I'm going to say, well, that's going to change to times, and xy minus 3 would be on the denominator, and on the numerator we've got what was over there. But I'm scribbling this down because I don't actually want to write that, rewrite this whole thing over here, and then go equals on a new line. That's quite a lot of extra writing and time. So I think what would be maybe a fair thing to do is let's do our tip and times, but also simplify this a bit. So what I mean by that is I want to go times, and now the denominator is going to be on the numerator. But I'm going to apply that squared in the same step. So we did squaring in the last example. 3 squared, 9. X to the minus 2 squared. So that x to the minus 2, this is the part that we're looking at. Well, we're just going to multiply, so that's x to the minus 4. Y to the 4 squared. Well, without even writing it, we can see, well, 4 times 2 is 8, hopefully, so y to the 8. And now we can simplify the numerator, which is becoming the denominator, in the same step. See, it's just saved a little bit of time. So the minus 3 applies to both the x and the y inside the brackets. Well, that's easy because it's just x to the minus 3, y to the minus 3. Okay, for this numerator in this first fraction, we've got 3 times something squared. Now, according to our order of operations, according to BEDMAS is a way to remember our order of operations, we must do the exponents before we do the multiplication. So we're going to have to multiply the 3 in to that squared. So x squared squared, well, we're going to multiply these two exponents. So 2 times 2 is 4, so we've got x4. And then we've got y to the minus 4 squared. Well, again, we're going to multiply exponents, so minus 8. And then we're going to multiply that by 3. Notice that we're not going to do something like this distributing because we've only got one term in the brackets. Okay, so that's the numerator. The denominator, which I've covered up a bit, so I'm just going to move that over there, but I do want to keep those colors coordinated, is, well, what's a good color? Blue, let's go there. Again, the squared only applies to this part in the brackets. It's not the 2 that's being squared. So we've got x squared, well, that's just x squared. And y squared squared, well, 2 times 2 is 4, so that's y to the 4. Now, I didn't put the brackets because they're not actually doing anything. So that just feels a little bit simpler. It's only one term. But you could have the brackets there if you wanted to. They're just clogging up the way for me. Okay, then we've got a decision because we can start doing some cross-cancelling, or we could multiply numerators and denominators. So this is kind of hopefully you getting a feel for which is feeling most comfortable for you. Right now I feel like, let me just multiply numerators, multiply denominators. It might feel like one extra step, but I'm feeling a bit safer doing that. So 3 times 9, 27. X to the 4 times x to the minus 4. Ooh, you see what it is? X to the 4 times x to the minus 4. Oh, well, that's fine. We add exponents, right? Base stays the same. X to the 0. But what is anything to the 0? Well, it's just 1. So 27 times 1. Okay, well, I don't need to write times 1. Y to the minus 8 times y to the 8. Wait, that looks like the same idea. So this multiplying numerators has actually probably saved us a step versus the other way. Okay, let's look at the denominator. 2 times, well, that's just 2. X squared times x to the minus 3. Well, for that, the bases are the same. So we're just going to add exponents. 2 plus minus 3 minus 1. So that's x to the minus 1. Now, y to the 4 times y to the minus 3. Well, that's easy. We're multiplying and the base is the same. So we just need to add, x's became y's, y's became x's. We just need to add our exponents. So we've got y to the 1. And the last piece of the puzzle is we want to make sure that we've got positive exponents. So we need to write x to the minus 1 as x on the numerator. We've multiplied by x on the numerator. Okay, so that was one way to do it. On another day, you might have cross-cancelled something or gone straight from that step to that step. I think that wasn't too bad a way to do it. You definitely had to apply the exponents first because of our order of operations. So there we go. That was fairly neat, I thought. Well, maybe not. See you in the next one.